You're doing something right now that's costing you thousands of dollars, and you have no idea. Millions of drivers destroy their transmissions daily by making quick moves that feel totally normal. That split-second decision? That's money leaving your bank account fast. Most transmission damage doesn't blow up overnight. It sneaks up slowly until suddenly you need a $3,000 to $8,000 repair. But here's the good news. Once you know what kills transmissions, you can avoid these mistakes completely. Welcome to Car Care HQ, where we help everyday drivers save money by avoiding expensive car problems. Today, I'm showing you 12 critical mistakes that destroy automatic transmissions. One of them, mistake number 4, is something almost every driver does constantly. It's silently killing your transmission right now. Let's dive right in. 1. Not warming up your transmission in cold weather. Your engine doesn't need much of a warm-up in cold weather. Modern engines are pretty cold-hardy. But your transmission absolutely needs warm-up time in winter. Most people start their car in freezing temperatures, wait 10 or 15 seconds, and then drive off hard. This puts serious stress on your transmission. In cold weather, transmission fluid becomes thick and sluggish, almost like honey. It can't flow properly through the internal passages and channels inside your transmission. When the fluid can't flow smoothly, internal components don't get proper lubrication. Gear shifts become harsh and delayed. You might feel a noticeable jerk or clunk when the transmission engages. Metal parts are rubbing against each other with insufficient lubrication, causing micro damage that adds up over time. Here's what to do. On cold mornings, start your car and give the transmission a full minute or 2 to warm up. Then drive slowly and keep the engine RPMs low for the first few miles of driving. Don't accelerate hard or shift aggressively until the transmission reaches normal operating temperature. This simple routine takes maybe 3 extra minutes, but it protects your transmission from cold weather damage. You'll get smooth, normal shifts instead of harsh jerks, and your transmission will last much longer. 2. Shifting into park before coming to a complete stop. You're in a hurry, so you tap your brake, and before your car fully stops, you aggressively jam the shifter into park. You hear a loud grinding sound. That's not just an annoying noise. That's the sound of money leaving your wallet. Here's what's happening. The park position works using a tiny metal piece called a parking paw. This paw is a small pawl that locks into a gear tooth inside your transmission to prevent the car from rolling. It's a simple, elegant mechanism designed to hold a stationary car in place. But it was never designed to stop a moving vehicle. When you shift into park while your car is still moving, you're asking this tiny component to suddenly stop thousands of pounds of metal traveling at speed. The result is devastating. The parking paw gets chipped or cracked. Sometimes it breaks completely. Now your transmission is damaged, and you need a transmission teardown to replace a part that probably costs less than $10. But the labor? That's hours and hours of work, easily $500 to $1,500 in labor costs. The solution is almost embarrassingly simple. Come to a complete stop before shifting into park. Full stop. Wait a half second. Then shift into park. That's it. That's all it takes to protect yourself from this expensive mistake. 3. Spinning your wheels when stuck in snow. You're stuck in snow. Your wheels are spinning uselessly, getting deeper into the slush. Your natural instinct kicks in, floor the gas pedal, power through, get moving. This seems like the logical solution, but it's actually transmission suicide. When you keep spinning your wheels by flooring the gas, you create absolutely incredible heat inside your transmission. The friction generates temperatures that can literally melt internal components. I've seen transmissions literally explode with metal shards scattered everywhere, all because someone got stuck and decided to become a race car driver. Here's what happens at a microscopic level. The transmission fluid gets so hot it breaks down completely. The clutch packs inside start slipping and burning. The transmission stops responding to commands. It won't shift properly or might not engage the gears at all. You've just turned a minor inconvenience into a $5,000 repair. When you get stuck, take a deep breath and stay calm. Try gentle rocking motions. Shift carefully between reverse and drive, moving the car back and forth slightly to build momentum. Get traction aids under your tires, cardboard, sticks, whatever helps create traction. Call for a tow truck if you need to. Anything is better than revving your engine and spinning your wheels like you're in an action movie. Your transmission will thank you. 4. Holding your foot on the brake and drive at long stops, most common. This is the mistake almost everyone makes, and it's the one destroying most transmissions silently, day after day. You're stuck in a long drive-through line. Traffic is completely stopped. You're sitting there with your foot pressed on the brake, and the car in drive. What most drivers don't realize is that when your car is in drive but not moving, your transmission is working hard, harder than it should be. Inside your transmission is a component called the torque converter. Its job is to transfer power from your engine to your transmission. When you're in drive but stopped, the torque converter is still trying to push the car forward. Your brakes are fighting against it. This creates friction and generates heat. On a normal day, it's manageable. But on a hot summer day when your air conditioning is running, that extra heat pushes your transmission temperature into danger zones. The fluid gets hotter and hotter, starts breaking down faster, and loses its ability to protect internal components. Imagine your transmission is like a person running a marathon in the heat. If you keep pushing that person and they can't move forward, they'll overheat. That's what happens to your transmission when you sit in drive with your foot on the brake for extended periods. What should you do instead? 4 short stops at normal traffic lights. Staying in drive is perfectly fine. But when you know you're going to be stopped for more than a minute, like in a long drive-through, during heavy traffic jams, or at railway crossings, shift into park and apply the parking brake. This is such a simple change, but it makes a huge difference. By shifting to park, you remove all load from the transmission. The fluid can circulate freely without friction, and the transmission gets a real break. It's the difference between idling peacefully and running a marathon while standing still. 5. Shifting from reverse to drive while moving. Picture this. You're backing out of a parking spot. You see a car coming toward you, so you panic and immediately slam your shifter into drive while your car is still rolling backward. That split-second decision just cost you years of transmission life. When you shift from reverse to drive while the car is moving, you're forcing your transmission to do something it was never designed to handle. The transmission has to instantly stop all that backward momentum and switch to forward motion. This creates a violent collision between internal parts. The clutches inside your transmission are supposed to engage smoothly, gradually. But when you make this shift while moving, they slam together with incredible force. It's like 2 train cars crashing into each other at full speed. The impact generates intense heat, the clutches wear down instantly, and that burnt clutch material contaminates your transmission fluid. Do this even a few times, and your transmission starts slipping. Keep doing it regularly, and your transmission will eventually fail completely. When that happens, you're not replacing a part, you're replacing the entire transmission. We're talking $4,000 to $7,000 out of your pocket. Here's the simple solution. Always come to a complete stop before changing directions. Even if you're in a rush, that extra 2 seconds to stop completely protects you from a massive repair. It's literally the cheapest insurance you can buy, and it's free. 6. Aggressive acceleration from a stop. You're at a traffic light. The light turns green. You stomp on the gas pedal and accelerate hard from a stop. It feels exciting and powerful, but you're just hammering your transmission. When you accelerate aggressively from a stop, the transmission has to shift through the gears quickly and harshly. Each shift creates impact stress on internal components. The clutches slam together harder than they need to, the gears engage with more force, and everything gets hotter than it should. If you do this occasionally, it's not catastrophic. But if you're the type of driver who floors it at every green light and accelerates aggressively everywhere you go, you're steadily wearing down your transmission. Years get shaved off its lifespan. Smooth, gradual acceleration is much gentler on your transmission. You'll get where you're going almost as quickly, but without the unnecessary wear. And as a bonus, you'll also use less fuel and wear your tires more evenly. 7. Shifting into neutral at red lights. You're sitting at a red light. It's going to be a minute or 2. So you think, I'll shift into neutral to give my transmission a break. You feel like you're being smart and taking care of your car. But you're actually making things worse, not better. Modern automatic transmissions are specifically designed to sit in drive while stopped. They can handle it perfectly fine, but not for an extended amount of time and during hot weather conditions. Every time you shift from drive to neutral and back to drive, you're engaging and disengaging the transmission clutches. This constant back and forth causes friction damage on the clutch surfaces. Think of it like constantly turning a light switch on and off versus just leaving it on. The repeated switching wears out the switch faster than leaving it in one position. Your transmission works the same way. The only time you should shift into neutral at a red light is if you're waiting for something unusual, like sitting at a railway crossing waiting for a train to pass. For normal traffic lights not lasting more than a minute, just leave your foot on the brake and keep the car in drive. It's what your transmission was designed for. 8. Believing your transmission fluid lasts forever. Your owner's manual probably says your transmission fluid is lifetime fluid and never needs changing. Sounds great, right? No maintenance, no hassle. But here's what the manual doesn't tell you. That lifetime fluid is only guaranteed under perfect driving conditions. Perfect conditions mean normal weather, light driving, no towing, and no stop-and-go traffic. But nobody drives in perfect conditions. You're sitting in traffic jams. You're towing trailers. You're driving in extreme heat and cold. You're making constant stops. After 40,000 to 80,000 miles in the real world, that supposedly lifetime fluid starts breaking down. It gets thinner, loses its protective properties, and gets contaminated with tiny pieces of worn metal and burnt clutch material. This dirty, worn-out fluid can't protect your transmission anymore. When this happens, your transmission starts showing symptoms. Shifts become delayed, like your car is thinking about it before it responds. Gear engagements become rough and jerky. The transmission behaves erratically, shifting at weird times or struggling to find the right gear. By the time you notice these problems, significant damage has already happened inside your transmission. And here's the catch. If you wait too long, even changing the fluid might not help anymore. The worn-out clutches have gotten used to that dirty fluid, and fresh fluid can actually make things worse by improving lubrication too much. So what should you do? Change your transmission fluid every 40,000 to 80,000 miles or every 3 to 5 years, whichever comes first. This keeps your fluid clean and your transmission healthy. It's one of the cheapest maintenance tasks you can do, but it saves thousands in transmission repairs. 9. Not using your parking brake. Most people shift into park and walk away, completely trusting that the parking paw will hold their entire vehicle in place. This works fine on flat ground, but on any hill, slope, or incline, you're putting unnecessary stress on internal transmission components. Think about it logically. Your transmission is engineered to transfer power from the engine to the wheels. It's not really meant to hold the full weight of your car on a slope forever. When you park on an incline without using the parking brake, gravity is constantly pulling your car downward, and the parking paw is doing all the work to hold it in place. This puts continuous strain on the transmission, especially if you live in a hilly area or park on sloped driveways frequently. Over time, this stress weakens the parking paw and damages internal transmission components. Here's the right way to park. Stop your car, shift to neutral, apply the parking brake, and then shift to park. This sequence means the parking brake carries the weight of your vehicle, not the transmission. Your transmission is protected from unnecessary stress. Make it a habit to use your parking brake every single time you park, regardless of whether the ground seems flat or sloped. It takes 3 extra seconds and protects thousands of dollars worth of transmission components. That's an excellent trade. 10. Towing without transmission coolers. Towing puts tremendous stress on your transmission. You're asking it to move heavy weight, shift under load, and maintain power constantly. Many drivers don't realize how much damage towing can do to a transmission that's not properly equipped. If you tow regularly and your transmission doesn't have an aftermarket cooler, you're allowing fluid temperatures to climb dangerously high. The transmission gets hotter, fluid breaks down faster, and wear accelerates significantly. For frequent towing, installing an additional transmission cooler is one of the best investments you can make. It costs a few $100s, but can easily add years to your transmission's lifespan. Alternatively, you can get transmission temperature gauges that alert you when things are getting too hot. If you tow occasionally without coolers, take frequent breaks to let your transmission cool down. Avoid towing during the hottest parts of the day. Drive more slowly and conservatively when towing to reduce strain. 11. Ignoring strange transmission noises. Your transmission starts making an odd noise, a grinding sound, a whining, or a clunking. You think, I'll listen to it for a while and see if it goes away. Then you just ignore it and keep driving. This is one of the worst mistakes you can make because transmission noises are warnings. They're your transmission telling you something is wrong. That grinding sound means metal parts are rubbing together. Whining often means internal pressures are off. Clunking usually indicates worn mountings or internal damage. The scary part is that transmissions are so well engineered that they can mask major problems for a surprisingly long time. You might continue driving with increasing internal damage for weeks or months before the transmission finally fails completely. By the time you notice serious symptoms like slipping or refusing to shift, you've got severe damage that could have been prevented with early intervention. As soon as you notice unusual noises, get your transmission checked by a professional. Many transmission problems caught early can be fixed with fluid changes or minor repairs. But ignored problems eventually require full transmission replacement. 12. Skipping transmission fluid checks. Your engine oil gets checked regularly. You know to look for low levels. But your transmission fluid? Most people never check it. They assume it's fine and don't think about it unless there's a problem. Transmission fluid levels drop gradually over time for various reasons. Small internal leaks, fluid consumption, normal wear. If the level gets too low, parts inside the transmission don't get proper lubrication. Friction increases. Heat builds up, where accelerates dramatically. You should check your transmission fluid level at least twice a year, and more frequently if you tow or drive in extreme conditions. It's a simple 5-minute job. Just pull out the dipstick, check the level, and top it off if needed. Catching a low fluid level before it causes damage saves you from expensive repairs. It's preventive maintenance at its finest, simple, cheap, and incredibly effective. There you have it, 12 mistakes that destroy automatic transmissions. Some of these probably surprised you. Others you might recognize as things you do regularly. Here's what you need to understand. Transmission damage rarely happens all at once. It's the accumulation of small mistakes over time. Each mistake adds stress cycles to internal parts. Each one wears clutch material. Each one generates unnecessary heat. Each one contaminates fluid. And eventually, all that damage adds up until your transmission can't handle it anymore. The terrifying part is that modern transmissions are so well engineered that they hide the damage for a long time. Your car can shift perfectly fine while serious damage is accumulating inside. Then suddenly, boom, symptoms appear, and by that point, you need a $3,000 to $8,000 repair. But here's the great news. Almost all of this damage is completely preventable. By avoiding these 12 mistakes, you can protect your transmission and keep your car running smoothly for hundreds of thousands of miles. Start today. Change one habit. Come to complete stops before shifting. Use your parking brake on slopes. Let your transmission warm up in winter. Shift to park during long waits instead of holding the brake. These simple changes compound over time into major protection. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe to Car Care HQ. We're all about helping everyday drivers avoid expensive mistakes through practical, understandable advice. Remember to check the description for timestamps so you can revisit any specific mistake or share it with friends who need this warning. Thanks for watching Car Care HQ. Take care of your transmission today, and it'll take care of you for years and years to come. I'll see you in the next video.